I, 27F, saw a weird message between my husband, 27 meters, and his mom. I, 27F, saw a weird message between my husband, 27 meters, and his mom. Husband and I have been together for 4 years. Married for 1. Not sure how much backstory or history to give. I will say that we have an open phone policy. My husband is free to look through mine and I'm free to look through his. When one of us is driving, the other will answer texts. We also don't keep locks on our phone. So earlier this year, my husband found out he had a child from a previous relationship. DNA test was done. Due to COVID, the mom didn't want her child to be around my husband without her. He tried to see his child, but the mother made things very difficult. Boyfriend's immediate family, including his mom, stepdad, and grandmother, are completely aware this child exists. His mother and grandma communicate with her on their own. So last night my phone died sometime. When I woke up this morning, I couldn't find the charger. Grabbed my husband's phone to look at the time and read until I fell back asleep. Well, when I opened the phone, it was still on the message thread with his mom. The messages I saw were a pic of the mother of his child with her children, a selfie. Husband's mom, I need to see you. Husband, no you don't. My initial thought was that he had saved this woman's number under his mom's name, but after scrolling through older messages I realized it was his mom, unless she had given her phone to the mother of his child or something. We just saw his mom this past weekend. His mom FDS him every other day and sometimes several times a day. So the message just seems off to me and makes me wonder if she was around the child's mother and told her she could text my husband from her phone, maybe not realizing she would send something like that, or telling her to send a pic of his child to him. It sounds like something lovers would say to each other, not something a mom would say to her adult son. And especially after sending that picture, I ended up going to my husband's other messages and found his message thread with the mother of his child, who was on D&D. Nothing seemed amiss in the messages, and went mostly along with what he had already told me. But they also haven't messaged since October. So very possible he could have deleted messages since then, or she's been texting him from a different number and he just deleted that thread. The only thing that seems strange from their message thread I read is she kept accusing my husband of abandoning her and her child. My husband acted like he had no idea about this child until earlier this year, so I'm not sure on why she would say that, unless it's true. How can you accuse someone of abandoning a child they didn't even know exist? How to approach this situation. Too long didn't read. Husband's mom sent him a pic of the mother of his child and his child. She also sent, I need to see you, directly after. I have no idea how to approach this situation with my husband. I don't want him to think I think Terry's something weird going on between him and his mom, because I don't. But I do feel uncomfortable. Also, the mother of his child claims that he abandoned them, but husband acts like he didn't know about her or the child until this year. It sounds like something lovers would say to each other. You have had some weird romantic relationships, I think. So I'm not sure on why she would say that, unless it's true. You said that the baby mama didn't want him around. Who did you hear that from? Is it possible this woman expected more involvement from him? Does he pay child support? Rather than wildly speculating about this, you could just ask what his mom wanted to talk to him about. Yes, my husband pays child support. My husband has told me before she was giving him a hard time about meeting their child, and the messages confirmed that. He would ask about meeting the child and she would go silent like the day before he was supposed to meet her, and she would finally say something the day of like, my ride cancelled. You haven't even spoken with your husband about this and instead have invented some wild conspiracy theory that has little to no basis in anything but your feelings and vibes. Talk to your husband. Anything else is meaningless. No one here is going to be able to give you advice based on speculation and feeling. I think you're reaching here, but it's not surprising given the shock you must have had in finding out your husband is a father. Since you are open about seeing each other's messages, I don't see the harm in just asking him. Sounds like you need to have a really good chat about the whole situation in any case. If he talks to him mom every day, he probably knew already what she wanted to talk about, and said no. Meaning, she's been nagging him about something and pushing and demanding for a while, and he's shutting that shit down. I cannot read anything further from this, and certainly not the wild speculation that this is secretly the mother of his child saved under his mum's name. There has to be reason that your mind went straight there, but I have no idea what it is. Communicate with your husband. Sit down, say what you saw and that you need to talk about it and get on the same page. If this is going to affect your relationship, you need to know about it. My 29F husband 32F says I should sometimes suck it up to couple friends because they are the only friends we got in this town. We have a friend couple who we have known for years. They are good friends. We are not social creatures, so we don't hang out much with others, and unfortunately they are the only friends we got in this town. My husband sometimes bends over backwards to help them out, e.g. changes his plans so he could accommodate their needs, puts himself in difficulty instead of saying no. I guess that you should help each other, but not at the cost of your own comfort or time. Basically, sometimes he has no boundaries. It causes numerous fights between us. An example of it is, they have a kid. They recently bought a house near us and have to go back and forth for some paperwork. We work from home and he dropped us a message saying, we need to drop our kid there. We have paperwork. Not even checking to see if we will be busy or have time to. I was like, WTF. My husband cheerfully accepted. When I brought this up, he told me that they are the only friends we got and we sometimes have to overlook what they are saying. Maybe he didn't intend it that way, even though it sounded rude. He added that they are the only friends we got, and if we have a child he or she will only have their child to hang out with. I'm still WTF. This sends out a wrong message to me and even our future child. TL, doctor, husband goes out of his way to help friends. Those don't sound like particularly good friends to me. Your husband needs to understand that when you act like you don't deserve respect, you don't get it. Not to be harsh, but he sounds like how Beth views Jerry from Rick and Morty, as a pathetic subservient slug. Your husband needs to set boundaries. That is not okay, friends or not. No, you don't have to bend over backwards for these people. Also, social creatures or not, both you and your husband are perfectly capable of going out and meeting some new people. I suggest that you do that so neither of you feel like you are being put into a tough situation with these people. Also, if your husband wants to volunteer himself, you don't have to join him. No, these are the only friends he's got. They're not your friends. They suck. Plain and simple. Only have friends if they are your friends. Relationships shouldn't be forced. Someone who makes you do stuff for them simply because it's inconvenient for them and is commanding you to do it rather than asking, that's not a friend. If you want friends, go and find them, but never use the excuse of they are our only friends to guide any decision you make. My guy thinks I cheated but I didn't. F/38 only seeing other 2 months. Female/38 years old. Dating a guy 2 months, never said we were serious. His ex-wife, 2 GFs before me, all had affairs. I turn off my phone one night because I needed to disconnect. He immediately thinks I was with someone. He asked if I was sleeping with other guys. I was honest and said there was one other at the time I started to talk to him, but no one else since. He won't speak to me now and everything was so perfect with him. Is this relationship doomed? How can I get him to give it another chance? I've been single for 1.5 years out of a 15-year relationship, so this is all new to me again. I need advice on how I should pursue this. I really like him and don't want to lose him, but he's angry and hurt. He still reads my snaps and texts but stopped replying. TL, doctor. He thinks I cheated because I turned off my phone for a few hours. He never said we were exclusive 3 weeks into it. He's angry and upset and doesn't want to give me a chance to prove I'm not like the others. Need advice on what to say or do to get him to give it another try. At 2 months in, this is his best behavior. Why do you want to chase after a person that thinks turning off your phone means you're cheating, and then will refuse to talk to you about it? Is this really the best you can do? Also, really doubt those other ladies cheated on him, considering that he thinks you cheated just because you turned your phone off. It's unfortunate that he has trust issues, But even if you do get him to let this one go, how many more times are you going to have to defend yourself against someone who doesn't believe you? Are you really willing to help him work through his issues? It's been 2 months, is it worth it? Because I assure you this will happen repeatedly. You told him what happened. He did not want to listen. Do you really want to pursue a relationship with someone who is unwilling to communicate and trust you? I understand he has trust issues, which is why him asking what happened and expressing why he was concerned is okay, but refusing to hear you when you explained and then stonewalling and ghosting. That's emotionally abusive, immature, and unhealthy as fuck. You don't want or need that long term. It's been 2 months. This is him on his best behavior and it's this shitty. Be glad the trash took itself out. Do you know they had affairs because he told you or because someone else told you? His perspective clearly isn't trustworthy. And, yeah, he seems unhealthy. If everything was so perfect for 2 months, maybe you could suggest that he seek counseling and you could go with him a couple times. He sounds like he's been tremendously hurt and maybe he needs someone by his side while he is healing. Just don't let him make you feel like a bad person because he's in pain. Right? She's going to be another boogeyman in his sob story. Oh, I had to break up with my last girlfriend because she was cheating on me too. Do yourself a favor and move on unless you want to spend your time in a toxic relationship with someone who has insecurity issues. This will not play out right, and the fact you are trying to get him to give you another chance after only 2 months and he's already been crazy shows you might need to work on yourself as well.